Hey guys, welcome back to Semper Mechanic. My name's Thomas. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how my mobile mechanic customer had split personalities. Or at least I thought he did. So I tell a lot of stories on this channel about my mobile mechanic customers or the things that I've dealt with or the drama that I've dealt with. Well, I've had my business for about 5 years, so there's been a lot of things that's happened, but not so much that you can have a story every single time. So I'm sitting there talking to my wife. I'm like, oh man, I'm running out of some crazy stories. I said, there's not much left. 99% of the time, these jobs go normal. It ain't like this stuff happens every day. I mean, you might get something once every few months that happens. So we're sitting there talking. I told her all the videos and she's watched them. And then she goes, well, did you ever do one about that guy a couple years back that you thought had split personalities? I started laughing. I was like, I cannot believe I forgot this one. Because this one is crazy. And it is 1000% true. There's nothing that's made up about it. Nothing that's exaggerated about it. It is to the T 100% true. So a few years ago, I got this call. Actually, it was a Facebook message from a guy asking me to call him because he had a 2005 Ford F-150 and the transmission fluid was leaking. He didn't know where it was coming from, so he wanted me to come out, diagnose the vehicle. Once I get it diagnosed, depending on the quote, he wants me to go ahead and fix the vehicle. It's a normal job. So I get his phone number. We call. Guy seems very nice. He's about 55, maybe 60 years old. Kind of like an older Jack dude. You know, the ones that I'm talking about that's like still wearing affliction shirts and like the jeans with the cross pattern in the back or whatever, you know, that kind of guy, right? So we set the date up for the next day about 10 a.m. We're only charging him the $60 diagnosis fee. So we head out there. Now I remember it was about a 45-minute drive. It was out in one of these little country suburbs. Now remember, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, which is the capital. It's a big city with 1 million people, you know. Well, we drive out to this little country place. I mean, it was really nice out there. There was only one house for every like half a mile. You know what I'm talking about, one of them country roads. We pull up and it's a really nice house. I mean, maybe $500,000-$600,000 house. And this is when 500,000 or 600,000 got you a big ass house. We pull in the house, I get out, go up, I make contact. Guy comes out, like I said, jacked older guy, affliction shirt. And right away, he's drinking a Bud Light. And he's like, here, man, you want one? I was like, oh, no, brother. Sorry, I don't drink. And everything seemed really cool. So we start talking, and he's telling me what's going on with his vehicle. And right away, I can tell that he's like trying to establish this dominance. Women, if you didn't know, that when men meet each other, it's a dick measuring contest. There's always got to be the alpha and beta. There always is. It just doesn't matter if it's with your friends, strangers, or whatever. Now that I'm 40 years old and fat and overweight, I'll be bottom bitch all day long. I don't even care anymore about that. So anyway, I let old boy be alpha because he's the customer, you know, I'm just the mechanic, whatever. You're paying me, we'll just keep it at that. Like, all right, sir, you owe me $60 for the diagnosis. He paid it, no big deal. And I start doing the diagnosis. He's out there. He's one of them customers that's going to sit out there, watch you, get underneath the vehicle with you, ask you 1,000 questions, which is fine, whatever. If you want to do that, that's great. He's down there underneath the truck, looking up everything as well. And while I'm down there, he's asking 1,000,000 questions. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, I find the leak, and it's actually the transmission cooler lines. So we got these lines that's running from the transmission to the radiator, okay? Long metal lines, and there's a couple of them. Well, they're broken. You know, both of them are leaking, rusted out, you know, just normal shit that happens, especially up north. So I pointed out to him, I show him what's going on. He sees it. So then I look up the price, and I can't remember the price. I think parts and labor total was like maybe $350, maybe $150 labor, the rest parts. Everything is good with that. Look up the parts, they're not in stock, so we have to order them. So I placed the order at AutoZone. They'll be in the next day about 2 o'clock. Everything is good. He sees it. And I'm like, all right, brother, I'll see you tomorrow. He's like, all right, man, I'm glad I found a good mechanic. And he's just real happy. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I shake his hand and I leave. I go back home. It's maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So I go home. I'm eating dinner. I'm hanging out with the wife and the family. And I started getting Facebook messages, and it's maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, what the hell? My wife's like, nah, who's messaging you this late? Talking to girls, blah, blah, blah. Just give me a hard time joking. I'm like, I don't know. Let's check it out. Maybe it's some beautiful woman. And I look, and it's my customer. I'm like, oh, I wonder what he wants. Maybe something changed. Maybe he won't be there tomorrow or something. I look at it, pull it up, and the first message says, you are a fucking fat piece of shit. I'm like, what? The fuck is this? I showed my wife. I'm like, yeah, I think he sent it to the wrong person. She's like, I don't know. Another message comes in. Bam, bam, bam. You're a scam. You're a ripoff. You stole my money. You're a piece of shit. Just all these degrading messages. Even says, wasn't in the military. You faked all this stuff. You're a scam. I want my money back. And I message back, but he's not replying. He just keeps sending messages. He's not answering my questions. I call him, but he doesn't answer. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? You know, I ended up just blocking him for the night. You know, I was like, I'll deal with this motherfucker tomorrow. So now I'm mad, right? I got up early. I was like, I'm headed down there to talk to this guy because I can overlook a lot of things, but some of them things he said, you're going to have to answer for them. You can't just be a keyboard warrior. You say too many things to me, and if I know where you live, I'm going to show up. See who's alpha then, right? So I get there, I pull up, and I jump out of the car. He comes out holding a beer, Affliction shirt, different collar Affliction shirt. I mean, he has a whole wardrobe of them. He comes out and he's like, hey, man, how you doing? And I say, well, how are you doing? You know, like, I'm pissed off a little bit. He's like, oh, not a lot, man. Just had a good breakfast, got my workout in, and he's like being really nice. So what happened last night? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I had some messages from you. So I show him the messages, and he goes, oh, that wasn't me. I must have got hacked or something. I don't remember doing that at all. I'm sorry that happened to you. Wow, that's some foul stuff. I said, yeah, man, I thought it was you. I mean, it came from your Facebook. I was like, what the hell? I was pretty confused, man. And I just blew it off. I was like, all right, man, well, let me just get to work. So here I am doing my job. Now the truck's outside. Well, it starts to rain, and it rains heavy. So we get rained out for the day. I got maybe an hour, hour and a half in. Like, I got the cooler lines actually off. I just haven't got the new ones in. Now, he understood about that. Like I said, during the day, kind of obnoxious, kind of, you know, just somebody you don't want to hang around, but he's an okay guy. So he understood completely. He's like, all right, man, can you just come back tomorrow and finish? And I'm like, yeah, man, no big deal. So I shake his hand again, go home. Well, I'm home, eating dinner with the family. Everything's good like normal, right? Guess what? About 11:30, bam! This time it's a text message. And then he's text messaging me, you're a fat piece of shit, you're trying to rip me off, all these same names again. I mean, they're just coming at one after another. Like, he didn't quit for like 20 minutes. Like, I couldn't even get a response out. Me and my wife's just sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? He tried to say he was hacked, but he's doing it again. Now it's a text message. I said, so we know it's him now. We ain't got no crypto hackers out there hacking you just to bother me. I just don't believe it. And all the same things he said the night before. But now he's also adding that I'm a thief. He said that I stole tools from him. Air conditioner's missing. Like an air conditioner to a house. Like, I'm just walking around with this big ass AC. Like, shit was just crazy, right? So I end up blocking him again. I'm like, Jesus, what's wrong with this guy? But I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to go back down there. You know, I'm going to see what's really going on. So the next day, I head back down. Exact same thing. He comes out. He's all nice. And I'm like, bro, you messaged me last night. And he's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, dude, it's right here. And I show him everything. And he puts his head down. And I'm like, God, here it is. You son of a bitch. You're going to admit it. And he's like, I got to tell you something. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. Like, I'm waiting on an apology, right? And he looked at me and he goes, I've been diagnosed with split personalities. That was not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to be like, I'm sorry, man, I shouldn't have done that, or whatever the case was. I was fighting with my wife and just pissed off. But the last thing I would have guessed was saying I got split personalities. Once he told me that, I was like, oh man, like, I've never dealt with this before. So I didn't know how to react. But he did apologize, and he's like, I'm very sorry about it. And I was like, okay, man, that's fine. So everything was cool again. Got the job finished. He paid. Everything was good. You know, I don't know if I'll ever see this guy again. Well, I'm home. Guess what happens? Around the same time, 11:30 or 12, I start getting these messages again. And now they're even worse. Now he's talking about my wife. He's talking about my family. And he's getting on Facebook. And he's doing Facebook posts about it. He left me a negative review. Like, all this happened in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, what in the hell's going on? Like, I know this guy has split personalities is what he said, but like, this is crazy. Now he's affecting my business. He's telling people I robbed him, saying he paid me and I didn't put the parts on. And none of that happened. So I have to block this guy on like everything because he's just harassing me at this point. Well, the next few days, I don't hear anything from him. I don't hear nothing. Like, I just go on with my life. Well, then I get an email from the Better Business Bureau saying there's a complaint filed against me. And guess who it is? It's Affliction Dude. He left a review with them as well. So I reach out to his ex-wife, telling her everything that I'm going through. And she starts laughing once I tell him the split personality. She goes, oh, honey, that's just what he tells people. He's a drunk. He just drinks all day long. And by the time it's nighttime, he's so drunk that he just causes trouble with people. He would do this every night, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock. He would come in, he'd start hitting on me, and he just does this. He's dangerous. He'll stalk you forever now. So here I am like, what? This dude told me he had split personalities. Here I am finding out he's a drunk, and he just tells people he has split personalities. That way he can get away with harassing people. And I was like, this motherfucker. And then I thought, that's kind of genius, really. You tell somebody you have split personalities. So when you're harassing them, like kind of feeling bad for you, and you're harassing them. So this dude just gets drunk every night and harasses people. Here it is 2 years later, and guess what? I can still find things that he still writes about me once in a while. Now, it ain't every day, but once a month or something, he'll put a review out where he'll go on my website and say some stuff to this day. So here I'm thinking, how many victims does this guy got? He's divorced, whatever. He's by himself, 60 years old, just getting drunk every night and getting on the internet and just going after anybody he knows. He don't have any friends. He doesn't have anything. He gets drunk and he just harasses people. But nobody does anything because he has split personality. So everybody's like, well, I can't call the cops on this guy, or I don't want to mess with him. He's got a mental illness. So this dude found a way to harass everybody and anybody and get away with it. So for that, Affliction Man, I salute you for that one. All right, guys, if you like this little story, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We're at 2,100 subscribers as of today, so we're moving on up. I'm pretty happy about that. So down in the video description, check it out because we have other videos that we have linked there. And check out our membership down there. That's where we have our Cash App or Venmo if you like to donate to the channel and help us out. And we'll sign off like this. Like we always say, Semper Fi, till next time.